All right, everybody, welcome back to the Bass Bros Podcast. This is episode 6. We got a couple changes going on today. Philip, my older brother, couldn't make it today, so filling in for him is my father, Philip Friedman Sr.
Patrick, great to be here, man.
Nice to be here, too.
I think this is my first Bass Bros podcast.
This is your first? This
Awesome.
is your debut. I'm really excited to have you on.
Thank you.
And Dad, don't really know a lot about freshwater, right?
No, I'm very, very lacking in my knowledge there. So I will use this as an opportunity to learn something also.
Yeah, you're going to have good questions for our special guest, Mike from Mike's Fishing Adventures.
How you guys doing?
So, Mike, how did you start Mike's Fishing Adventures?
Okay, so I started Mike's Fishing Adventures.
And real quick, Mike, if you can get close to the mic.
Okay, sounds good.
I totally forgot to tell you before.
So I started Mike's Fishing Adventures I started when I was a kid fishing saltwater with my dad. I have no idea like fishing freshwater bass because I moved out here when I was after the I think like freshman year in high school.
Yeah.
So I've seen all this, they usually show this bass fishing competition in Indonesia too.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kind of fish is that, Then I start getting to know like fishing freshwater, but it's kind of hard. I kind of give up a little bit actually.
It's really tough switching from saltwater to freshwater. And I see two roads people go down.
Yeah.
When they get to freshwater from saltwater.
Uh-huh.
Either they hate it and they never want to do it again.
Yeah.
Or they love it and they want to figure it out.
Oh,
and
okay.
That's kind of what happened to me as well.
Yeah.
Because I started saltwater as well.
Oh,
So-
really?
Yeah. So you're talking saltwater in Indonesia?
Yeah, and then after that I came here, and then fishing's kind of gone away for a little bit because I'm focused on like my music. I used to play I used to play music professionally.
Wow.
And then since I have a family now, and then like music's kind of dying down.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna start fishing. I start watching YouTube videos like fishing in Marina Del Rey, fishing in San Pedro, or any kind of, and I found about this spotted bay bass fishing.
Yeah.
From a guy in San Diego. I watch this YouTube video all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I found this guy, and I started going fishing, and I was like, and then my brother's like, hey dude, you should take a GoPro on your when you're fishing. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. So he gave me like a knockoff GoPro.
Yeah.
And I started making videos of it. And then, some of my friends like, hey, dude, go make your Instagram a fishing adventure. So I was like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I was like kind of
Yeah.
reluctant to do it,
Uh-huh.
I was like, and then after in a while, okay, fine, I'll go make it. So many people bugging me to do it. I was like, okay, fine, I'll make it. Even though my wife's kind of reluctant to do it. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like stuck all day like in social media. It's like, but
Yeah.
it happens. But now, since I moved to Torrance, I used to live in Upland, by the way.
Mm.
So since I moved to Torrance, and I'm getting close to Marina Del Rey, Pedro, Long Beach, everything. A lot of good saltwater fishing.
Yeah, right out of here. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
And
amazing.
then one day I was like so bummed. Like I think I fish too much salt water. I want to go. I still have a lot of freshwater lure, and I start going to Londra, going to El Dorado. And the way I do it, like, oh, you know what? My wife used to work in, like, literally like a block away from El Dorado. So I would take her to work, and I would fish all day waiting to her.
Yeah.
And that's where I got hooked again, fishing,
El Dorado Park.
Yeah,
and just
now I
being
get
really
hooked
close.
saltwater. I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? This is it. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Then I start fishing for bass again.
That's awesome. So take me back to Indonesia. You're saltwater fishing there. What's the saltwater fishing like there?
Oh my God. It is, I don't know. I have so much memories. Yesterday I was talking to my friend too when we were fishing. I had so much memories about
Yeah.
it. My most fun memories was, I don't know, you know Krakatoa? That's
No.
Spillavas,
You do?
right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So me and my
East
dad.
of Java, right?
Yes, exactly. Java is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So I remember me and my dad, we were on his 30-foot Boston whaler. He used to have a 30-foot Boston whaler. So we would pack like like a big gallon drum, and then put it in a boat. That's for extra gas.
Yeah.
And then we put supplies. And then since Indonesia is like so many islands, so we would leave from the dock all the way to Krakatoa, and then you just fish their surrounding areas.
Yeah.
So that trip itself, it takes, with a Boston whaler, it took about probably like 2 days.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we would
What
stop.
an adventure. Right?
Yeah. So we would stop in different areas. We stop, and then how we camped out, we just find an empty island, park right there,
Oh, bitch.
and then just cook whatever we catch. And I remember like the day I remember the Krakatoa starts spewing smoke.
Oh my god.
Starts spewing smoke, and I remember, and then my dad's like, okay, let's throw. He put Rapala, he put the skirt jig on the top, and we start trolling. I remember that day. I think my dad caught like probably about 250-pound blue yellowfin.
Whoa.
We caught about like probably like 10 plus mahi in a like 15 to like 30-pound range,
Wow.
and bunch of little skipjacks. And I was like, oh my god, that's probably like one of the best fishing time with my dad. And one
Yeah.
time we're like, and then it's not always going smooth that whole week, but one time we were like, you know what, my dad wants to do some GTs, right? Fish for GTs.
Yeah, the
And
giant trevallies.
he hates lure fishing.
Yeah.
He hates lure fishing. And and then he always throw either trolling or live bait, right? And he started using a Rapala, and then it's like, we literally like troll like literally about like 100 yards from the bank.
Yeah.
But there's so many rocks in there, so he knows that's where the GT is. Like, oh my god, I remember my dad hooked one, and then my dad told me like, there's gonna be more, throw a live bait. But I didn't have a rod, so I throw it a hand line.
Oh my god.
And then my dad's like, and then I remember this big spool of line.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I was a kid. I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, it just let it line, and I was just like fooling around the boat, eating candy, stuff like that. And suddenly I saw this roll of line, like boop, 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 like flipping on the boat. A fish took it.
Yeah.
And I grabbed the line. And I was like, oh. And then my dad's like, okay, and he hand lined it.
Oh my god.
For me,
That's
it's turned out like a
crazy.
40-pound GT.
Wow.
That's
Ah.
insane on
Man,
the
if I were
hand.
gonna open a movie scene, I mean, the volcano on Krakatoa is spewing all this ash and smoke.
Yes,
And
yes.
you guys are catching
Yeah.
200-pound yellowfin tuna. I
Yeah.
mean, wow.
And what's crazy, it wasn't just us. There's so many like, just wooden boats fishermen that commercial fishermen. They're just like, hand lining tuna after tuna after tuna. Oh my god, that's just.
Tell me you don't want to go do that now.
Have you ever hand lined a tuna, Dad?
Yeah, well, I mean, you get bit on boat lines when you're albacore fishing.
Okay.
So that's a boat line, and then, it goes off, and you just...
Yeah, you just hand line it,
hand
yeah.
And you throw it on, or you need
Yeah.
a gaff if it's a bigger fish. So that
Yeah.
way I have done it, yes.
That seems like it's a tough gig.
Yeah, no question about
It
it.
is.
Yeah.
It's and then.
And I got a lot of guys, you probably know, they'll lose a finger if you're not careful doing that.
Oh
You
yeah,
get-
that's what
stuff like that.
my dad actually was worried about that because I wasn't having any glove. I just trying to
Yeah,
hold the
right.
fish,
Yeah.
First thing that came to my head.
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
9-year-old
That
kid.
yeah.
It's
That was
dangerous, yeah.
that was really dangerous. Yeah.
That kind of takes us back to when I was like 4 years old doing tuna with you.
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of memories, but I remember I did catch an albacore, I think it was,
You
right?
sat on a guy's knee named Alan Girardi, who's still around. He's was a deckhand back in those days. And it was on board, I believe, the Tracer, and Steve was running the boat. Steve has passed away. But yeah, you sat there, and man, you just turned the handle. He was 4 years old.
Oh,
and
wow.
And Alan never, he goes, I'm not doing anything. I'm just coaching him. And I go, that's really cool. So, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's such great memories.
It's so cool, like when fishing is such a big part of your life.
Oh,
to
yes.
do it with your dad and your
Yes.
family.
Yes. Yeah. Now my dad, he's like, I talked to him about, getting serious about tournament fishing. He's
Yeah.
like, I never asked my dad like so much for something, And this past, actually, a couple of weeks ago, we went to his house, and he's like, so how's fishing? Because since he getting, I got the like a inflatable boat, and
Yeah.
fishing's good. But I told my dad I probably gonna have like about 26 tournament this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a bank fishing tournament and then a boat fishing tournament. It's like, oh, okay. Well, what are you trying to do? It's like, oh, I'm trying to get to one of those guys. So I switched the channel. I think Master Elite Series was
Yeah,
playing.
or MLS
So
now,
yeah,
yeah.
so I switched the channel. Yeah, I want to be like those guys, you
Yeah.
know?
Right.
It's like, oh man, yeah, but I'm gonna try to hit the goal in 5 years. I don't care if I don't make to that,
Goal.
that goal. But if I can have the rig ready, if I can have like, be in like local tournaments like ABA or one bass tournament,
Yeah.
or even qualify for a Western regionals,
Yeah.
that would be great,
That's
Hey,
awesome.
Just to interject, because Matt Florentino was here just the other day. He's from AFCO.
Oh,
And
really?
They just announced this, so it's going to be. Is it May or April? Anyway, it's called Coastal Social. It's going to be run. People are going to come in and weigh their fish in right here. $50 to get in.
Uh-huh.
It's bass fishing.
Uh-huh.
And it's called Coastal Social. That's something that's got your name written all over it, Mike.
For what, calico bass and
Calico and
sand bass and
Yeah,
spotties.
Yeah. Huh?
Or just-
and spotted bay bass. I
Wow.
believe it's open to all those different bass categories, and they're gonna have one in let's see, May maybe. It's either I think it's April.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
probably the spring bite, right?
April, and then September another one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's one that you guys got to participate
Yeah.
in because
Oh, definitely.
I'm gonna be doing, and hopefully Patrick, live podcast that day. So when people are coming in and weighing their fish, we'll have a live podcast.
Oh,
I'd
that
like to
sounds
see
like
you
it.
hang one up there, Mike.
Yeah, and tell us
Oh.
how people caught them and stuff. That
Yeah.
sounds like a blast.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
Mike
fun.
Morrison running around taking photos. It'd be crazy, right?
I don't know if you guys pay attention about this year, but the sales of like the fishing license this year has skyrocketed. Like
Yeah.
people has been taking fishing. I don't know if you go Bass Pro Shop now. You remember in Bass Pro Shop where you come and you will see like 20 boats and then there's some more outside.
Yeah.
Literally, I went to Las Vegas last week. There's probably only 7 boats available.
Wow.
And then you go to the Bass Pro Shop Rancho Cucamonga, there's only probably like about 3 or 4 boats available. Their showroom's like pretty empty. People has been buying boats. And people start taking fishing, and I noticed it too since the start of pandemic.
Yeah, that's what I was
I'm-
gonna say. It's probably
Yeah,
related to that.
yeah. I really pay attention because I'm kind of like a brand ambassador for like the Ace Fishing Tackle in Gardena.
Yeah.
So I monitor what brand they could bring. Majority it's only for the freshwater fish. They already like established a saltwater store. You
Yeah.
know. So, but the owners like approach me like, oh, maybe we can work together. Like maybe you can try to get me some of the freshwater fish in.
Yeah.
Man, some days back then when during the pandemic, he asked me like, hey, can you just go inside, help us in the store for like, once a week or something like that.
Wow.
You gotta remember, it's limited to go inside the store,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's people have to wear masks, but the sales of reels,
Mm-hmm.
baits, and rods is flying out.
That's
It's been
great
it's
news.
yeah, it's been tough to find. Like I can't find a Huddleston anywhere right
Oh
now.
no, you can't.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
you can't. I tried that. I tried that.
But I think of that as a great thing. Like being YouTubers, we
Yeah.
get a lot of hate, or I don't know, at least sometimes we get some hate about
Oh, I do.
posting fishing videos.
I do.
People don't want people at
I
those
do.
spots, and
I
I
do.
love promoting fishing to everyone.
Yeah, that's
you know?
one of the reason why I started my YouTube channel. I try to promote fishing to the younger kids, especially
Yeah.
I have an 8-year-old. I remember like, dude, I almost cry when my son's like, I told him, here, use a jig head and a kite, cast it out there.
Yeah.
I taught him how to use a bait caster. He caught 3 fish that day, and he caught a calico. He got almost a trifecta.
Wow.
He got a calico. He got a spotted bay bass, and he caught a vermilion red rockfish in
Wow.
Marina del Rey.
That's
I was
crazy.
like, hey, dude, I never caught that in the bay. You know?
Yeah, he's got
And I was
father's
like,
touch.
this. You know what? That's like one of the proudest moment of being a
Yeah.
dad. He's like, oh man, he's hooked. Now it's like, I took him to freshwater. He's like, I don't like this thing.
Yeah, it's not
No.
as easy.
I want spotted bay bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit that way. You know that.
Oh
Yeah.
really?
I'm like, I don't get the freshwater thing that much.
Okay.
Although I have to admit, like you have said, I mean, I know many skippers,
Mm-hmm.
captains in this business. Buzz Brizendine ran the Prowler for years
Yeah.
and years and years. I think he likes bass fishing more than anything. John Grabowski was a long range captain. He's all over it. And Bruce Smith, right here from the Fortune, bass, man. They are all over it. So there's something wrong with me, man. I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't think there's something wrong with you. It's just people are like totally different in the game. Just like me. I love, freshwater and saltwater fishing. But when somebody asked me to get into fly fishing, I would definitely 110% say, okay, that's another different game. I'm just gonna step out and then step aside, and I'm not gonna touch that area.
Yeah.
I tried once before. Some angler like, hey, can you fly? Oh, okay. This is not my jam.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand where you're coming from, because one of my friend, he's like totally like 100% saltwater angler, but when he comes to freshwater bass fishing, he only throws the big bait like huds,
He's looking for the big.
Yeah, he just don't.
Yeah.
He don't look for like. And then one time he sent me a picture. Dude, I can't believe these things keep biting. And he was holding a 6-pound smallmouth. Dude, I would be overjoyed,
Yeah,
right.
like catching a 6-pound smallmouth. And he's
Yeah.
like, no, man, what you looking for? I'm looking for like 12-pounder bass. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, yeah. So there's a lot of people like,
Yeah,
man.
I've just been starting to throw the big baits, and I still haven't caught one on it. We were at Diamond Valley Lake yesterday.
Oh, how was
and
it?
It was good. I was getting a lot of followers.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
come with the fishing big baits, yeah.
Not a committers, but that helped us to catch fish.
Well, that helps you gain your confidence, though.
Yeah, absolutely gains the confidence, and then we could see kind of where the area they were at. We ended up catching like 11 fish.
Oh, that's good.
From like 2 to 4 pounds. But
Well, what's the target depth range, if you don't mind me asking?
there's some up shallow for sure.
Oh,
There's
they're
some up
shallow. Okay. Yeah.
Mostly they're pre-spawners right now.
Oh, pre-spawners.
Pre-spawners.
Oh,
But
okay.
that full moon did bring some shallow.
Oh, that full
but-
moon kind of
Yeah.
killed me yesterday. And,
Yeah.
to be honest, I never had like fishing during the full moon.
Yeah, full moon can be rough.
Yeah.
But
Saltwater different.
yeah.
Best days comes during like 2 days before the full moon.
Really?
During the upgoing the coming tide.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's when my
Those are good.
those are. I remember this is full moon. This is like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I went to Dana Point,
Mhm.
and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do something crazy. I'm just gonna throw a rapala this big.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in 20 foot of water.
Mhm.
Between 20 to 30 feet of water. I end up in like 2 hours trolling just the harbor.
Yeah.
I caught about a 5-pound sand bass,
Wow.
a 4-pound calico,
Wow.
a 3-pound calico, and then a couple of other 2-pound calico. But they all hit that rapala this big, trolling in the harbor.
That's
Wow.
great, man.
You better
Yeah.
bring that to that tournament that's
Huh?
coming up. You got to bring that to the tournament. That
Yeah,
bass tournament.
the part is scared. Like I know the areas, like in the Dana Point area, but in here I tried that. I lost a rapala right. It's
Nothing.
like, oh, that hurts, because in here like there's so many,
Yeah.
what is it called, kelp, So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that I think you do are those shore fishing tournaments. Can you talk about like what that is, how it's
Oh.
organized? Is it a private thing, or can
No,
anybody do it? Or
it's not a private thing. Remember, well, earlier you were saying about people like hating YouTubers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the way I started, I started making videos in this particular pond.
yeah,
So because this is close to where I live, I can go to work right straight after that.
just by you saying particular pond, I know for a fact you got a lot of hate from it.
Yeah, yes, this particular pond, because this is a gem for people in the South Bay
Yeah.
area, and and believe it or not, most of the guys that's in the pond guys derby, we call it a pond guys derby because
Yeah.
we only do ponds. We were such like enemies back then. We won't talk to each other. We talk crap about.
Yeah.
We were like arguing, hitting butts.
Mhm.
But after a while, I just don't see why people can come together,
Mhm.
doing something good. And turn out, like now, most of the guys that hates me, we turn into like best friends.
Yeah.
And we're like doing, oh, you know what? I'm going to start this freaking derby.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then like we were doing like the tournament. I remember the first time it showed, it's like 17 people. We were only thinking about 8 people.
Yeah.
But I talk to anybody in the park, hey, what are you guys fishing? There's some days that I always get mad with people like fishing night crawlers, and then they take the bass home.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't mind you guys taking the bass, but please don't take like the 7-pounder, the 6-pounder. Those are the breeders,
Mhm.
And sometimes I remind people, hey guys, just want to remind you that the DFG does not stock bass.
Mm-hmm.
They stock trout, they stock catfish, but
Yeah, they
not
don't
bass.
stock the
Yeah.
Right. So there's a finite number of
Yeah,
bass.
yeah, because and then that's where people come like, dude, that's why you're making so much videos and people come here to fish. But so far, I've seen people when I fished in this pond, they come and they start asking me, so what do you use? Oh, I use this. I tell them all the trick and blah blah blah, and they start practicing catch and release. They catch fish.
Yeah.
So start of the first derby, and we're gonna do it like we're gonna tell everybody, okay, we're gonna do it in every once a month. We're not taking any money. We're just gonna collect the money, divide it evenly for the winners. It's just like pretty much like a group together, like a bass club tournament. You just have a meeting, just hang out with the guys. So this is gonna do it, but this is involved like a talking crap in the middle too, because you can see people catch fish in a pond, right?
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Like, I can't imagine.
Oh
like,
my god, dude!
catch one right in front of someone. and
Oh,
just go,
dude.
you missed this one.
Yeah,
That sounds
I
like such a good
actually I
time.
had some guys that
Exactly.
some of the guys that okay, so this we started late in April last year.
Yeah.
And so far we haven't stopped. So it's been going constantly. So it's been really good. And then we start doing the night tournaments. Like we try a couple night tournaments too, and it works out pretty good too.
Yeah.
And then so this year I was like looking back. So there's a guy that fishes. He actually won the third place at the Western Regional.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in Lake Havasu. So and he fishes my tournament. He was asking me like, how so this is crazy. Like all the group of guys that comes into my tournament,
Yeah.
the youngest is 12 years old,
Wow.
11 years old. The oldest is 75 years old.
Wow.
Whoa.
Diverse.
It's very, very diverse. And we all talk to each other almost daily, keep in touch. And then there's some guys too that's like a little bit older. Some gentleman, like he just got a stroke, and then sometimes it's so hard to tell him. So I have to write sometimes, I got to tell him, remember, I give him a signal, 1-3 on the 13th until the next month,
Yeah, yeah.
But he always there whenever we had the tournament.
Yeah.
He's always there. So I'm kind of glad, like, these people, they watches a lot of bass tournaments, but they can't
Afford the bass boat or- yeah.
afford bass boat or trying to be or competing in some ways,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some guys that are like do wagers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what, guys, we'll do the tournament, we'll do the derby, and there you go. Guys just start coming, start fishing, and then we all become best friends. We talk to each other almost daily, and the way I find out, like most of the guys that knows about the tournament, I usually post it on Instagram in my story.
Yeah, and that's Mike's Fishing Adventures.
Yes,
right?
yes. I usually just update on my story. I usually post about the rules and stuff like that. Of course, it's gonna be artificial only, and all the entry fee is always the same, $11.
That's awesome.
$1 goes to the trophy and the drinks. Sometimes I bring snacks, and some other guys just bring, just bring some cooler of drinks. People can. So after fishing, we can just hang out and then have cold sodas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been great. I wasn't even thinking about doing it, but after I'm talking to some of the guys, man, we should do like a little derby going on,
Yeah.
like, I was kind of reluctant because back then people like, yeah, Mike, stop making videos, like, well, dude, I make videos. I always try to tell people like what to use, and then it turned out, I kind of, when people say, I don't like you, blah, 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 I take it to my mind, and it's like, you know what? Don't become a hater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't
They
hate.
don't know you.
I took their advice or whatever it is. I didn't hate them or anything like that. But I still talk to them. People sometimes when you're like, wait, man, shut up, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
I still talk to them. I say, whenever I fish, hey, good morning, how you doing? I still say, I still keep telling.
Mike, that and take it from an old man here, right?
Yeah.
Your philosophy is right on because people have a tendency. Now I'm going to get philosophical. Do you
Go
mind?
ahead.
No. You're
Alright.
the oldest, man.
People have a tendency that
Yeah.
when they get treated poorly,
They
go down to that level and become like the person that's treating them poorly, and you don't
Yeah.
want to do that. You want to stay. So, I'll give you a perfect example. There was a guard,
Okay.
at a shack that I used to drive through.
Okay.
And the guy never said hello.
Oh, really?
And I was thinking, like, what an a-hole this guy is, right?
Yeah.
And so I started to not say hello to him, and then I stopped myself and I said, no. I'm not going to do that. So then, good morning. Found out later his mother has cancer. And he's probably preoccupied,
Oh, yeah,
obviously, with that.
Yeah.
And here I was ready to pass judgment on this poor guy.
Yeah.
And later on, guess what?
What?
Nice. Now, good morning. How are you? Both of us together. So you're right on. You
can-
gotta be yourself.
Yeah.
And you never know.
Never
what
know.
cross somebody else is carrying.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Some people in this world, like sometimes I sometimes I do get worried. Since some of my derby anglers, they're pretty old. Sometimes we're like checking on each other, and then I was like, hey, what is this guy not coming? Usually he comes here in the morning. I
Right.
found out like, oh man, this guy went to ER last night, what? So we start talking, like, hey, you could have called us, we're offering you some help, blah blah blah. It's becoming more like a community.
Yeah,
Instead
that's
of
great.
instead of like people like talking crap about each other, like trying to go, I'm the best angler right here.
Yeah.
I know everything, blah blah blah. See, my goal is trying to eliminate that,
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah, like I that's why when I look at your videos, some people might be reluctant, like telling people, oh, this guy. I remember Philip was doing that. Guys, I'm using a 15-pound and what is it? The Texas rig weedless hook and a 15-pound line on a drop shot. I was thinking like, what? I never thought about fishing a 15-pound line in a drop shot before.
Yeah.
But my point is, he was telling me, and using margarita mutilator is the key, blah, blah, blah. You're telling everybody, like, what you catch fish on, and then, you're throwing knowledge for people out there to go fishing. You know what? That's really good, because people usually go out there, throw a night crawler, if you don't pay attention, when you're fishing bass with a night crawler, most of the time you'll
They'll
hook
choke
them.
it. Yeah.
They'll choke it
Mhm.
and they die.
Mhm.
So when you're teaching people like doing fishing the right way, it
Yeah.
kind of helps the fishery in the long run too, and that's why I was like, you know what? I really like all this, people in YouTube when they make fishing and they're showing you like all these baits that they're using, and they apply fishing to it, and they catch fish in it. Just like Iconelli, Brian Latimer,
Yeah.
Roland Martin, Scott Martin, they never get shy about telling people like, but there are some people like, oh, I catch a fish, boom, boom, didn't say the bait, and they just
Yeah.
put it in a live well, and they just start fishing on it. But they don't throw any information about fishing, what kind of bait that you're throwing,
Yeah, I mean, and if I were to come back to Lake Paris a week later and see someone doing the same thing I was doing and catching fish, that would make me happy.
Oh, dude,
They're
definitely.
watching my videos, they're learning how to fish, they're getting better.
Yeah.
And I'll figure out how to catch them another way if I have to. Or if I don't catch one,
Uh-huh.
I'm on the water. I'm having a good day.
The best, I think one of my best days in the Mike's fishing adventures is I think it's not about the catching fish.
Mm-hmm.
I think my best memory, I remember I told my wife, I get kind of sappy with it too. And then this 11-year-old kid that participated in my derby. So I was fishing during the time, and then he came and to me, hey Mike, guess what? I just watched your video this morning.
Yeah.
And then he was fishing with his dad. Oh yeah, and his dad told me a story. He told me a story, so his dad subscribed to my channel,
Yeah.
and then he what is it called? In the morning, he just got up and he yelled in the room, "Hey Victor!" This little kid named Victor.
Yeah.
Sorry, Elias. His dad's name Victor. Elias. So, hey Elias, get over here. Mike just uploaded a video. So they're like, oh really? Okay. they got up in the dining table, have breakfast together while watching my video.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you serious?"
Yeah, that's amazing.
I just sat down and I was like, "Oh my god!" And then that kid just fish every day hard, and then whenever something's wrong happened, he always like comment on my video. "Oh, hey, Mike, I'm so sad today because I lost my favorite lure, the one that you." I was like, "Oh man, if I
We've
meet
all
that
been
kid,
there.
I will like give you a lure
Yeah.
for real."
Yeah.
Because his dad fishes nightcrawler, and this
Yeah.
kid's just reluctant to keep fishing
The lure.
the
fishing.
lure,
That's
the lure.
awesome.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, that's like my best memories. Like
Mhm.
a little impact that you have on people
Sure.
lives.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
great.
god, that's great, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Dad, you were all about doing kids fishing, and when you had 976 tuna, right?
Yeah, when I had a company called 976 Tuna, and we started a youth fishing program.
Oh,
And
okay.
we ended up taking over 100,000 kids out on the water. So we were going full rack for a long time, and those were great times. Mostly, we tried to focus on kids that would not have that opportunity, inner city kids,
Oh,
kids
wow.
that maybe had never seen the ocean before, never gone fishing. And yeah, for sure, that is.
Oh my
remarkable.
God, that's-
And it all started with a police officer who
Oh.
said, "I got two kids."
Uh-huh.
He said to me, "Got two kids that are just going the wrong direction. Why don't you take them fishing, and see what happens?" So I took them fishing, and I immediately saw the positive effect it had on those kids, and thought, we can do this. So I went to my friend Don Ashley over at Pierpoint Landing,
Okay.
and Donnie's a very giving guy, and he just started throwing boats our way, and started taking kids fishing, and yeah, it was fantastic. It really was.
And that's cool that you get to do like the same kind of thing with your YouTube channel. And what if you're a kid out there on YouTube, get in his ask your parents, $11, man. I mean, that's the best. I can't wait to do one. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
keep missing them, but
No,
I'm
don't
super
worry.
excited. When's
Don't
the
worry.
next one, by the way, Mike?
Next one will be on. Let me see the calendar.
I know you're practicing at Santa Fe Dam. Is that where the next one is, or are you just fun fishing there?
No, the Santa Fe Dam one it's not for the Pond Guys Derby. That's for the Urban Angler Club.
okay, okay, okay.
But the Pond Guys Derby, it will be on March 9th.
Okay, March 9th.
March 9th, that would be in
A particular pond.
El Dorado.
Just kidding.
No,
Just
it's
kidding.
gonna be in El Dorado.
Yeah.
El
Cool.
Dorado.
I like El Dorado. It's a
Yeah,
cool little
check-in's
place.
like 6:30. Check-in at 7 a.m. Fishing starts 7:30 a.m. until like 11:30.
Yeah.
So it's only like 4 hours of fishing, and the way we do it, you gotta have like a digital scales,
Mhm.
It's different than the Urban Angler tournament where you use the bump board,
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, and then we have the night tournament ones in Alondra Park.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be on Friday. Check-in start at like 6 p.m. and
Nice.
then fishing from 6:30 until 10:30 only.
Is that this Friday? Or
Not this Friday,
Yeah.
but the 2 weeks
after?
Yeah,
that one?
yeah.
Cool. I'll probably come to that one. I
Yes,
love fishing that place
try
at
to
night.
come to that one.
That'd be super awesome.
Yeah, it'll be super awesome. The reason why we have to be done by 10:30 is no street parking from 11 p.m. to 7 p.m. So
Yeah.
we try to finish always by 10:30 p.m. But
Cool.
then again, same rule. Bring the scales, digital scales. The night tournament costs a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't do the trophies for for the night tournaments.
Yeah.
The way we do it's like $20 entry, $15 go to like first, second, and third
Yeah.
place, and $5 will be separated into the biggest fish.
Wow. Super cool. So night tournament coming up at Alondra in a couple weeks, and then
Yeah.
Eldo in March 9th. Was it? You
Yeah.
just said?
So yeah, Eldo March 9th, and then the Alondra night tournament would be on March 12th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're a kid or anybody out there looking to do a cool little derby,
Yeah.
there's no better place to start.
Well, the reason is if you guys are serious about trying to competing, try at the smaller level, which is like in the pond.
Yeah.
Because that's how I did. Like, if I want to get serious about tournament fishing, I'm gonna start into like smaller club, just
Yeah.
like Urban Angler Club.
Mhm.
I think they've been around for a few years, and they've been like, I've heard so many good memories. So many good reviews about them. So
Yeah.
that's why I decided to join their tournaments.
Yeah. And fishing small ponds definitely makes you a better fisherman. We talk about SoCal bass fishing.
Oh,
in
that's
general.
you can't get any better than that.
It's tough.
It's
compared to the rest of
freaking
the
tough.
country. We got like
Oh my God.
not a lot of lakes. They're
Yeah.
not big.
Super pressure water.
Super pressured.
Yep.
So that's our lakes. Now try ponds that
Yeah.
are tiny. And
Yes.
hundreds of people hitting them a week. Maybe even
Yeah.
more than that.
Yeah.
That's gonna make you a really good fisherman when you go to Florida, like Lake Okeechobee or something. You got
Oh my
all this
God.
water to yourself.
You got all this
Yeah.
water to yourself, and I remember like when I started fishing like the small ponds around the South Bay area. It's just I think the first time I went, it took me like 4 days to finally figure out
Figure
what
it
they.
out,
Oh
yeah.
my God! there's-
Alondra was my first one. I was like, are there even fish here?
like yeah, exactly. Like, is there even fish? But I some people catch fish.
Mhm.
But man, back then I was like sticking to like Senko and crankbait. That's like the two baits that I would just use all the time,
Yeah.
right? And then I was like, I start seeing people like throwing different things, and I was kind of like, I'm thinking like, oh my God, I have to try a new technique again,
Yeah.
It gets kind of frustrating with bass fishing because there are so many hundreds of techniques of fishing,
Yeah, that's what makes it a lot of fun.
But
though,
then
too.
again, after you catch your first one on a different technique, you'll be like, oh, okay. That's why you gotta learn, and you come through with a fish, and then
Yeah.
you're like get hooked to it,
That's yeah, absolutely. It's funny how much you can hate a technique and then you catch one on it, and you're like, oh, I'm
I've
doing
seen
this.
so many big time. I've seen so many tournament anglers fish my derby. They weren't doing so well,
Yeah.
And then fishing ponds and fishing big lakes are totally different game.
Yeah. How so? What would you say the biggest difference is?
Biggest difference is where the fish are moving.
Yeah.
and in the pre-spawn time, usually a fish, like we talk about like pairs
Yeah.
before, like, and I always ask you like, hey, how many deep water you're finding? I remember back then, like few weeks ago, you were telling me they were in 60 feet of water, right?
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing, 60 to 40 feet of water.
Yeah.
And then when we went, I remember you were throwing big baits, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sticking just trying to catch fish.
Mm-hmm.
So I end up catching fish in like 30 to 15 feet of water. So
Yeah.
you can tell that they're going shallow.
Moving.
Yeah, they're moving shallow. In ponds, you got to remember there's no current.
Yeah.
There's no current. There's no.
Not a big drop off.
There's no big drop-offs now. There are some isolated spots, I would say the man-made snags, people like keep snagging, and then, grass just clumping. I would call it structure,
Yeah.
So if you, the good, what is it called? So if you fish that pond a lot and you know where it's like, oh, I think there's gonna be like a ledge or like a rock pile around this area,
Yeah.
you can use it to your advantage. But then again, fish in the ponds, I think what I pay attention, fish in the ponds, they don't usually, they have that time of day where they bite really good.
Yeah.
Not like in a big lake, you can get away because the lake is so big. Sometimes there's not bait fish around them. You can trick them to eating.
Yeah.
But in the ponds, if they don't want to eat, they don't want to eat.
Yeah. That's
It's crazy. Like I've known some of my friends that's fishing in a pond 7 hours a day, didn't catch anything. It's
Yeah.
like that's how it is, and it could go. It doesn't go just one day. It could go like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But when it lights up, it's weird.
Oh my
5
God.
minutes every cast.
Oh my God!
and then
Every
it's just
time
done.
it's just done. Exactly.
crazy.
You know how it
Yeah,
is.
I've
Yes,
seen that. I've seen
it's
that.
like that.
But
Yeah.
the one-
The
Go ahead.
analogy you guys use about fishing the ponds and becoming a much better angler, I can use that in saltwater because you asked me who the best fishermen are in saltwater fishing.
Yeah.
And I might tell you, it's the guy that's on the half-day boat all the time.
Mm.
It seems like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
I would like to hear
It's
your.
got to be a long-range guy, right? Or an albacore guy or a tuna guy. On a half-day boat, it's a little more difficult to get the fish to bite, so you hone your skills, and there's this constant repetition of choosing a hot bait, of casting, all of those things, which make you better. On an albacore boat, you get a jig strike, you throw 3 baits, you catch 3 albacore, and you don't get another jig strike, you've selected baits 3 times
Uh-huh.
that day and casted 3 times. On a half-day boat,
You're switching all the time.
Constantly. So I get exactly
They're getting
what
reps.
you guys are. You getting those reps. And it's a little more difficult. So
Yeah.
you really got to choose a hot bait.
Yeah.
You know, when an albacore comes to corner, they're full speed.
That
you
is
can
really
cross
cool.
back, whatever, and you get bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get exactly.
That
what
is
you guys
really
are
cool.
saying.
I know. I would never thought about that though,
Mm-hmm.
because you're right. In a half-day boat, you know, you're not always catching.
Yeah.
I mean, you do catch, but if you put a but man, you're right. Like, you know, a long-range boat, you know, they go to different waters that's like so much open water.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta think about the half-day boat. They gotta be back in like 5 hour or 6 hour time
right.
window, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So fishing is shorter.
So
And
you
then-
gotta make it happen.
Yeah.
You gotta be on your game.
Oh,
Exactly,
that's
right?
right. That's
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, wow.
That's super interesting. Good point, Dad.
Yeah.
I gotta start doing some half day boats so I can get my saltwater back up, man.
I'll go with you.
Oh man,
We'll
yeah.
take Mike.
Yeah, I mean, half day boats. That's how when I used to go with the half day boat, you know.
Mhm.
But last year, I did went target. Oh no, not last year. I think last year I did went to Catalina and tried to target the bluefin and the bluefin and the what is it called, the yellowtail, because they were
Yeah.
hot. But me and my friend, we came that day. We, you know, there's like hundreds of boats in Catalina because they were like it's kind of rare when bluefin coming out to Catalina. I remember the day before. I think 22nd Street Landing or some other landing, they caught limit on
I think it was 22nd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
They had the first limits.
their first limits
believe so,
in
yeah.
in Catalina.
Oh, I don't know if it was Catalina. I'm sorry. I might be wrong on that.
No, it's in the backside of Catalina.
Yeah.
So I was like, So my buddy's like, we gotta go tomorrow. We gotta go
Mhm.
tomorrow. Tomorrow, 100 boats. Probably only 2 boats that hooked up,
Wow. That's crazy.
and they're marking fish
They just
everywhere.
feel that pressure, you think, Dad?
I don't know.
You
But
can guess at so many things. Water
Yeah.
temp change.
water,
shut
yeah,
off,
that's
you
what
know,
I learned
all
about.
kinds of stuff.
About you know, you're thinking about water temp change affecting the freshwater fishing. No, but I think it has more to do in a big game fishing in salt water, because it affects a lot. So the way my friends like target this the tuna, they like to find that temperature temperature break between, you know, it's like, he needs to find a temperature like 68. So he tried to find like anywhere between, you know, he opened his app, it's like, this water temperature is like 67, all the way to 60. Oh, this is good, we're gonna sharp
Right,
it.
and
Yeah,
especially you just said a break is what you're looking
Yeah.
for. You're looking for
Yeah.
60. Say you're
Yeah.
fishing for yellowfin tuna.
yes,
So
yes,
they like 70-degree water.
Yeah.
So if you can find 64-degree water and 70-degree bumping up against it,
yes,
those
yes.
fish are going to go to that 70. They're
Uh-huh.
going to pop their nose into that 64, and they're
Yeah.
going to go,
Oh, yeah.
keep going.
No,
And
they
bounce
bounce
right
back,
onto
yeah.
that 70.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's where
exactly.
you can put the wood to it.
Yeah, you know, the theory is there, but just to find that temperature change, sometimes you get lucky. You know,
Yeah.
it's hard to find. You know,
Mhm.
but that's why it's like looking at the graph and looking the temperature. You always mark down like the area. Oh, okay, this area is like 68.
Yeah,
blah, blah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of saltwater fishing, if it does pique your interest, Dad, you got a saltwater podcast, right?
I do. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, it's Friedman Adventures, and we put out a show every Tuesday morning on YouTube. You can follow us or subscribe on YouTube. We deeply appreciate it. Hit the little bell there. We'll send you a notification. And also, we're on Instagram and Facebook. We've
Yeah.
got tons of charters. www.friedmanadventures.com. That's Friedman.
Super informational, super entertaining. I've listened to some. I love them. And if you wanted to get to bluefin or yellowtail, what do we got going this year?
Oh, we got so many different charters. As I said, you can go to our website, friedmanadventures.com. We've got 2-day trips on board the Amigo. We just put together with Bill Wilkerson, who's a captain down in San Diego in the Malahini. We've got 2 trips with Bill. People are loving his podcast. It was such a wonderful podcast. And then we'll be on board the Native Sun, the Freedom. We'll be bouncing all over the place.
Oh, wow.
And I want to we got to talk about this. And Mike, I want to do some kind of a caravan or something to Baja. I mean,
Yeah.
you know how much we love that.
Yeah, Mexico
We've got to
fishing
do
is
something like
so
that.
much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun fishing. Have you ever got down south and fished Mexico at all?
No, because I could get that in Indonesia.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we can
those
say, well,
GTs
yeah,
and
the
all that, yeah.
GTs. I mean, we can go to if I go to the brackish water, I could catch barramundi, black
Yeah.
bass, and
It sounds like we need to go to Indonesia too.
Oh.
My brother Paul, he lives in Taiwan. I was living in China when Patrick was in China for a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was living, and that was one place I had on my radar. But then I came back to visit these guys for 2 weeks, and here I am because of COVID.
Yeah.
A year later, so Indonesia, my brother raves.
Yeah,
about.
there's
It's awesome.
yeah, it's great. I have a couple friends that actually run charter deep into the jungle to fish for a snakehead, mashir.
Oh, there you go.
my
You
God.
got that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and then
haven't caught one
and then a black bass, a Papuan black bass, and they have and you can fish the mangroves for it's called a bumblebee grouper,
Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's just like spotted bay bass but on steroids.
Oh,
It's,
really?
it could get up to I would say 15 pounds.
Yeah.
And yeah, most of the guys. So actually, right now, Indonesian anglers they are now getting serious about lure fishing.
Wow.
It's crazy. So many people making lures right now. And then there's so many shows people are catching fish. I remember back in the day before all those fishing shows comes out. Me and my dad we've done all of that, but with live bait.
Yeah.
But all these people now, they are so crazy fishing fishing the artificial. Yeah, some of the tracks that this guys does, it's crazy. You do like a 14-hour drive
Yeah.
deep into the jungle, and then you gotta transfer into a 4x4.
Oh, God.
And then after that,
Sounds
and
so
then
awesome.
and then they would get a raft. They just float down the river, or they go float down what it's called. It's like a Everglades in a swamp,
Yeah.
but it's full with snakeheads and stuff like that.
Have you made a video on that yet?
Sounds awesome.
No.
Dude,
I
you
haven't.
gotta see that.
I haven't made that. You gotta think about. See, the thing about going back there for me is the hygiene. Cause I'm already grew up over here. Sometimes when I eat,
Yeah.
something's better. Oh no.
That's
my
what
God.
happened to
I'm
me.
okay with that. So let's go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not the
let's go.
spices and everything like that, but for me, it's like the hygiene, and sometimes I mean, the fishing could be good. I mean, if you haven't tried to fish, catch a masir in like a class 3 rapids,
Yeah.
fishing spinner bait or like a popper,
Yeah.
or like the sexy dog KV
Yeah,
Sammy,
Spook- yeah, Sammy.
Spook or Sammy, they would just come in the water. They're a current fish, so they would take you like fighting a coho pretty much.
Wow, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That sounds
That
like
sounds
such an
Yeah.
awesome video.
Barramundi.
I haven't even caught one of those yet.
Barramundi is
but-
just like a
Like
in Florida, it's almost like a snook.
Oh, really?
almost
cool.
like
I caught
a
a snook in Florida.
Yes, almost like a snook, but they do get bigger like snook as well.
That's
Yeah.
super cool.
And then the black bass is gnarly.
Really?
Oh my god. They have like a teeth like mangrove snapper,
Yeah.
but oh man, the way they fight, they duck down, they go through the trees and stuff like that. They
Damn.
ambush the fish. It's pretty much like a peacock bass fishing in the Amazon.
That sounds like a blast to me.
Absolutely.
If
I'm
you
in
ever
there.
go back, let us know. 'cause
Oh
we're
yeah,
coming
I
with
mean,
you.
if you guys want to go there, I can get you in touch with some of the
Perfect.
guides
That would
over
be
there.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna do that.
oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah. And it's not expensive going to. Sometimes it's not expensive going to South America.
Yeah.
You can find a round trip ticket over to Indonesia as cheap as $700.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And once you get there, it's super cheap, according to my brother.
Oh yeah,
Really
as long as you don't stay in
Yeah, we're
like
not into that.
the Ritz
not.
Carlton stuff like that.
Yeah,
The
you're right.
best way to do it, if you go to Bali or any other place, go get you can find a like a house or like a Airbnb stuff like that over there. It's pretty cheap. Like
I
only
did
like
the Philippines for a month, Palawan. and
Okay.
Pretty much every night I've spent maybe $6, sleeping in a hammock or sleeping with a family or
Yes.
going from place to place.
Yes.
I'm not, I can go to the frickin' Hyatt in San Diego.
Yeah.
But I can't live with a family in the Philippines or
No,
Indonesia or
where they
some other
could.
country.
Yeah.
That's what I'm there for.
Yeah.
Cultural
I'm all about that.
immersion.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
so much better.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah,
much
definitely.
easier too for people that comes to Indonesia because some of the guides that I know over there, there's one of them is actually a former U.S. Marine,
Wow.
and then they end up after he's just done with the Marines and they moved to Indonesia and they turn out to be Anglo. They moved back
That's
to
so
Indonesia.
cool.
I was like, wow, like, dude, what a way you had to make your living, you know.
Yeah.
It's not rich, whatever, but he is super happy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, let me know you want a guy. I can put you in touch with some of the guys. over there.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
that would be an awesome video. to
Oh
make,
my god,
man.
dude, yeah.
I can't imagine those things blowing up on top water, you know.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is it's 360 days a year, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of the weather, right?
Because the weather is so freaking humid over there, you
Mhm.
know? Yeah, sometimes, you know, the worst enemy is the rain.
Right.
Mm.
Because you got to remember, some of the areas that you guys going to travel over there are not incorporated areas where you have a lot of, you know, no paved roads. So
Yeah.
you got to either 4x4. I think I remember one time with my dad, I drove like 6 hours during the night. And after that, I had to take like 2 hours with a motorcycle.
Mhm.
Just because there's no road for
Yeah, right.
for cars.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, guess try that.
Yeah, that sounds like a blast.
Yep.
We got to get back when we can travel again. We've always been traveling, but we
Yep.
got to get back on that. I can't
Absolutely.
wait. Right now, Mexico's our little.
Yeah, for
Get
sure.
away.
That's good.
Yeah, well, that's your goal. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
my goal is simple. I want to fish like almost every lake in California first.
Have you been up north yet?
Oh yeah, my favorite lake is up north,
Yeah.
Shasta. It's my
Shasta
favorite
is
lake.
so
yeah,
much fun,
Yeah,
yeah.
because my mother-in-law, she lives in just 2 hours north of Shasta in Oregon side.
Yeah.
So whenever we go there, I always stop by Shasta. And Shasta is probably like one of my
It's so beautiful.
favorite fisheries.
And those spotted bass are fun to catch.
Yeah, and then there's not a lot of fisheries where you go into the bank and you're seeing like 2-pounder on the top, 2-pounder on the top, and you see all those like 8-9-pounders on the bottom swimming freely, and you cast a lure, hoping you catch that 8-pounder, but the 2-pounder eat it
Gets it
before it
first.
drops. You know, you don't get that, you know.
Yeah.
If you see that in Southern California, please DM me. You know, let me know where's the
Where's
fishery,
that?
because all these Southern California fishers are super pressured. You know.
They're gonna tell you it's a particular pond.
That's
If they do
there's a
see-
particular pond. Oh wait, are you a HOA member? Oh man, I was like, yeah, right.
Well, Mike, it was super awesome to have you on. I really wanted to have you on because I've heard from so many people. Do you know Mike Fishing Adventures? I'm like, no, I don't know him yet. And everybody has said such great things about you.
Oh, I'm glad.
I can't wait to fish your pond tournament. I'm gonna be at the Alondra one at night. That night
Yes,
tournament.
yes, the 12th, yes.
That's gonna be a blast. I love fishing that place at night.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be cool to meet a bunch of guys that like.
Oh
to
yeah,
do
for
what we
sure.
do.
Yeah, I can. You know, I wanna have. There are some other good guys that I want to send to you for this podcast as well. There's
Sure, we
yeah.
would love to have them on.
Oh
for
my
sure.
god, yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for including me in this, and Mike.
No problem.
What a pleasure. to
Oh
meet
man,
you,
yeah,
Mike.
no, yes, I'm enjoyed because you know I'm like pretty much like deep in the freshwater scene right now,
Yeah.
and then listening to some like you know older people that much more experienced
Hey,
than
watch
me,
that.
much more experienced than me. That's been in the game for a
You know,
long
I
time.
dye my beard for a reason here.
Oh really?
Call
I
me
need to
an
dye
old
my
fart.
hair.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, I love to. I mean, I'm gonna tune into your podcast, you know,
Awesome. Thank you.
the thing is, I'm a very bad saltwater fisherman, you know, because I
Yeah,
grew up with
I'm
the light
rusty
bait. So
too right
yeah,
now,
it's,
so.
so and you have a lot of knowledge. You've been in the game for how long? How many years that you've been in the game?
I've been in it for 55 years.
Oh my God! See, I don't mind digging people's brain, man, because
Yeah.
you know you can get that. I don't know if you grew up back then when I used to learn bass fishing. I opened a book.
Yeah.
There's no YouTubing.
Yeah.
There's no Amazon. Or if I find some people like you, I would ask you like, hey, what should I use? You know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, super awesome again to have you on, Mike. Mike's Fishing Adventures. If you want to get into pond tournaments, you want to
Yes.
learn about bass fishing, you want to just check out some great content, and I imagine it's Mike's Fishing Adventures on YouTube as well.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes,
YouTube, Instagram, check him out, follow him, subscribe him, Get your SoCal ponds in. Get your SoCal bass fishing in. We'll be back next week with another guest, maybe courtesy of Mike.
Hopefully, yes. Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. I
All right.
appreciate it, guys.
See you guys all soon.